This is Time Signatures with Jim Ervin, a podcast and radio program presented by the Capital Area Blues Society in Lansing, Michigan.
Driving up and down these Michigan roads, yeah.
And now, here he is, your host, Jim Ervin.
Baby, I'm home.
Well, thank you so much, Parker, and welcome to Time Signatures. I'm your host, Jim Ervin, and I'm pleased to welcome back a gentleman that I've honored to count as part of my ever-growing blues family. He was a guest on our show at the beginning of season 2 earlier this year, but he's back by popular demand because he's got some good stuff happening, and we want to help you get the word out. You can find this guy in the Alligator label, as you can see on my shirt here. But quite honestly, you're going to find him popping up all over the globe these days. Ladies and gentlemen, one of Chicago's finest, a musician that he totally brings it. He sings from his heart, mind, and soul, the Chicago way. Toronzo Cannon, welcome back to Time Signatures, my friend.
Hey, thank you. Thanks for having me again. Thank you.
Well, I'm glad to have you. And this time we got you on camera. Welcome to the studio here. Maybe one of these
Very
times
cool.
we'll be able to get you to join us in studio.
Okay,
That'd be
very
fun.
cool. Very cool. Yeah.
Well, listen, let's get this out of the way right now, man. Right from the jump, you have to tell me about your new album, Shut Up and Play. It's just about to be released on June the 7th, which, by the way, happens to fall smack dab in the middle of Chicago Blues Fest weekend. And I got to tell you, Toronzo, this is really some good timing and some good work, but a coincidence? I think not. I think that it was well played by all of you guys. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, no, it's very cool. You know, if there's a full circle moment, I just realized recently that my very first gig with my band that I've ever had was on June 7th of 2001.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I haven't had a chance to promote it yet, but I'm trying to find a flyer of that particular gig. But yeah, so if that's a full circle moment, then I guess, that's one for the books for me, Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I
23
remember
years
talking
later.
to you. I remember talking to you when you were going into the studio while you were producing this album. And you kept saying, I hope they like what I'm recording. And you seemed, at least to me, a little bit on the nervous side. But for the short time that I've known you, I can attest to one thing about your music. You are unapologetically genuine, Toronzo. And I think that
Mm.
that's what makes you one of Chicago's finest ambassadors. You don't pull any punches, agreed?
Well, once I make the music, it's not mine anymore. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but you always kind of have a sensibility that you do want, because everyone wants to be liked, right? You
Yeah.
know, or respected and things like that, and what they do. So there was a bit nervousness, where it's like, I hope they, because again, once you put it out there, it's for whoever the listeners to digest. Either they dig it or they don't dig it, or they respect
Right.
it, or whatever the case is. So you just have to roll with the punches on that one.
Yeah. And one more observation, if I may. You're not one of those musicians that just bitch about things. You shine a light on the problem, but through
Mhm.
your songs, you seem to point maybe the listener towards a way to resolve the problem a little bit. And I think that really separates you from the rest.
Yeah, yeah, or just give them an alternate view of something that they might have a hard stance on, or just debatable. Just give them an
Right.
alternate view. Like, if the listener can come away and say, you know what, I can see that side of it. I can see that. They don't have to agree with it, but just what, I can see something like that might be happening,
Yes, sir.
or just to create not doubt in them, but just again an alternate point of view. You know.
I was reading some of the comments on the reviews. Pascal Wilhelm of Bluestown Music said all 12 on this record being originals. I think it's a hit. Blues Rock
Oh.
Review put it this way: Toronzo Cannon delivers his songs with purpose and passion. Gary Clark Jr. called you a beast. Joe Bonamassa called you a great guitar player, an excellent
Mm.
vocalist, and an amazing personality. That's some really high praise, my friend. What do you think?
Yeah, well, again, for, cats on that level, that's doing it, and have a wider audience. For them to kind of, see me in the distance and say, you know what, that guy might have something, you know what I mean? Or I dig his
Yeah.
music, or how I present myself on stage. Um, when, like I said, when Gary and Joe Bonamassa, they said their thing because they've seen me. I was on
Yeah.
stage with both of them, and so that was, again, they didn't have to say it, but I'm glad they did. So it was very
Yes, sir.
cool.
Since we last spoke, you've introduced your fans to Midnight in Chicago, which is a badass guitar, and a very early look at your newest, soon to be delivered guitar featuring lumber from the home of Muddy Waters in Chicago. Talk about that for a minute, and please make sure you bring those with you when you come in Chicago or come to Michigan in October.
Yeah, I don't know if Muddy will be ready yet. But yeah, the Midnight in Chicago. I'll bring that one, of course, in another backup guitar for it. Just some luthiers. Well, actually, luthier Eric Betty out of Arkansas, Atlanta. He made me a guitar just from a couple of songs that he had heard on the radio, and the songs touched him in his life and things that was going on with him, and he just decided to make me a guitar, and it's very cool. He sent me a
It
letter,
is.
and
Yeah.
when anytime someone um you know take their passion and time to make someone a guitar, and just to give it to them, they don't need anything else other than a thank you and things like that. I think that's real cool, and that lets there's hope for the world. When people are
Yeah.
still giving and understanding and just want to uh help me create sound and get my message out because they like whatever I'm saying.
How does Midnight in
So yeah.
Chicago fit into your routine, man? Is it a regular part of your gigs now?
It's a regular part of the gigs. I had some things done to it. You got to get things adjusted when you go on the
Sure.
road and things like that. Um, but I try to rotate them because I have like nine, ready to go guitars.
Right.
So I try to rotate them. I try to color coordinate them with whatever I'm wearing. You know, I had white and gold on at the New Orleans Jazz Fest.
Yeah, that's a
So
badass outfit right there, man. I saw that.
yeah, yeah, thank you. I have another outfit to go with that one also, is black and gold. But
Okay.
yeah, so I try to color coordinate them. But when you're on the road, you have to stick with maybe one or two guitars and coordinate around the guitar.
Sure.
Mhm.
Well, I got to take a minute and catch up with the fam just a little bit because it was about a year ago that I met you down at the Jackson Blues Fest in Jackson, Michigan. And I
Mhm.
remember when you came off stage, you were walking around with your phone and you walked over to one of the vendors that was selling some items. And uh,
Mhm.
Denise and I walked up to you and you said, "Yeah, I'm just talking to my daughter. I'm trying to pick out some things for her." And you're showing things to her. How is Guyane?
Yeah.
How's Guyane doing, man?
Uh,
And how is
she's
how is
good.
her excursion into music?
It's good. She's about to graduate from DePaul in June,
Nice.
in
Nice.
maybe 3 weeks, a
Okay.
little over 3 weeks. She's doing her show. She has shows here at Shuba's and in different places, Subterranean, and I just played sideman with her at a Loyola type benefit.
Nice.
One of her guitar players, I guess, wasn't quite ready for the music, and she came in kind of anxious that night and was like, yeah, he didn't learn the music. And she tends to bounce things off me as far as, business things and, directions where she should go, how to, treat the band and things like that, or, what things she should do. But she asked me to play her music. Like, she's like, can you learn these 7 songs before tomorrow? And I'm like, well, I guess I got to now. She didn't give me much of a decision. So, and it worked out well. It worked out just me and her, and to me, it was one of the moments where, it's for me as a father to see my daughter like create her own music, and she's telling me that, like her music is special to her. If I'm playing it too
Yeah.
fast, just like slow down and things like that. And it's a very cool feeling. It's another full circle moment where it's like, that's pretty cool. She's a artist herself. I guess by looking at me, because I never really taught her how to play guitar or bass or drums or keys, anything like that. She just figured it out. And And it's like, okay, I'll take that, you know.
Right on, man. Well,
Mhm.
we need to talk about your release parties and such. What's going on the week of your release? It looks like you're going to be um, in the area, but you're not actually playing at the Chicago Blues Fest. But I bet you're going to have some good things going on with some album release parties, aren't you?
Yeah, sure. We're going to be at a place called Space that June 6th, June 5th, no, June 6th. I'm sorry,
Okay.
right before the release. And I'm sure, I think Bruce is going to let me sell albums there at the place, you know, albums and CDs. And you get a feel of how things are going. And then I'll be on the road to Iowa, Hartford, Iowa, the 7th. So, um, and then we're somewhere else. Then I'll be back that Sunday or something like that, you know. But
Nice.
or
Well,
that Saturday, I think. Yeah.
let me tell you, I've done the pre-order, okay, and I'm collecting vinyl because the vinyl bug bit me
Uh-oh.
right around my birthday back in April. And I got a
Okay.
nice turntable over here now, and I've got my vinyl collection growing, and
Very cool.
I'm excited, yeah, because I did order when you had your pre-order up, and hopefully I get one of those that are signed. If not, you can bet I'll bring it down
Oh.
when you come to visit,
Mhm. Oh yeah, I
and
got you. I got you.
looking forward to it. Now, listen, you've been nominated for 10 BMAs thus far, okay?
Yeah.
Honestly, after listening to Shut Up and Play, and thanks to Bruce and the team at Alligator for getting these out to the media reps and whatnot, I had a chance to listen to it, and from the
Mhm.
heart, from the heart, man,
Mhm.
this is absolutely some of your best work that I've heard. Seriously.
Oh, thank you.
There
Thank you.
there's
You
not
know,
a Go ahead. Go ahead.
oh no, no, I try to stay topical and I try to stay, you know, it's to me it's a deeper record than the other ones because it's kind of like the last 5 years of my life,
Yeah.
you know, in this particular since 2019. And you know, it's meaningful to me. Like all my songs are meaningful, but I think this album might be a little tad more serious than the other ones, you know.
Well, and I think
So,
some of that might have been because, you're coming out of the era of the pandemic.
hmm
And I know that one of your cuts on that album is the song to your daughter.
yes.
Um, you got some really good stuff. I mean, I don't want to tip your hand too much, but I happen to know
Mhm.
that there's a single out there right now. I believe that is Can't Fix the World that you can
Yeah.
find on Spotify and the other streaming services. You guys, you need to go listen to this because I'm telling you, when this album comes out on the 7th, y'all are going to want a copy. That's all I got to say.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's just, you know, I try to write from a real place and you know, my own songs and things like that and my thoughts.
Right.
After, you know, post retirement or post job, you know, I retired during this writing. I got a divorce doing this writing. You know what I mean? There's a lot of reflection, a lot of self inventory that I've been through, and as far as myself and who I am and my family, you know, things like that. So, you know, recognition of my family, my grandfather, how I came to be who I am, you know.
Yes,
And
sir.
I think the listener will see that in themselves too. It's like, because sometimes you have to sit down and be quiet, think about yourself and how you reflect with people around you and things like that. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
So I've had a lot of, you know, I've had a lot of self-reflecting time and I came up with some good things and came up with some things that I can change and stuff like that, you know, as far as being cool. Don't worry about things that you can't change. You know what I mean? You know, just let it be or let it get closer to you. Then maybe you can, you know, work through it, work around it, or just say, okay, it is what it is, that kind of thing, you know?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Well, here's your opportunity. Where can people get this album on June 7th? Go ahead and put your shingle out there. Let people know where they need to go and get it ordered. We're going to start promoting this video right away.
Okay, cool. I think you can get at alligator.com, you know, Alligator Records, of course. Or you can my name toronzocannon.com. There's a link that goes to Alligator and things like that. And it'll be on like all of like, you know, the Amazons and all of the I guess streaming
Yes.
services. And And I have a 27, 24 city tour coming up.
Yeah.
So I might be in the neighborhood of yours, an hour away, maybe down the street, you know what I mean? And I'll
Yeah.
have a bunch of merch ready to sell and things like that. My first time having an album too, actually. So that's going to be cool, you
Well,
know.
I can tell you that the people in the greater Lansing area with the Capital Area Blues Society, Denise Lynch and company, we're all looking forward to you coming to the Baum Theater in October. Tickets are available for that. I'm going to make sure to put a link up for the Baum Theater as well. But Toronzo Cannon, I want to thank you so much for joining me today on
Mhm.
Time Signatures. Much continued success as always, my friend. And we are looking forward to seeing you right here, less than an hour away in October.
Cool. And thank you for doing what you're doing for keeping the musicians, keeping us out there and seen and, asking us about us, personally. So thank you for what you're doing and contributing to the blues.
Well, it's my pleasure. And since you and I spoke last, the University of Mississippi's Blues Archive has taken time signatures, and they are in the process right now of processing season one. It's going to be available with transcripts so that students can write papers on the blues. And they're also going to be able to house the program so you can listen to it there on their website. So we're gonna
Very
we're gonna
cool.
definitely keep the blues alive one way or the other. Absolutely.
Very cool. And again, thank you for your work. Right on.
Thank you for your time, sir.
Okay.
That wraps up
All
this
right.
edition of Time Signatures with Jim Ervin. I'm especially thankful for you, the listener, the viewer, the supporter, and the fan, because without you, none of this would be possible. Jim Ervin reminding you that keeping the blues alive is everyone's responsibility, but preserving the history of the blues one story at a time, that's my mission. Until next time, so long.
This has been Time Signatures with Jim Ervin, presented by the Capital Area Blues Society in Lansing, Michigan. For more information on cabs, visit capitalareablues.org. You can find this episode and past episodes at lccconnect.org. The Time Signatures theme song, Michigan Roads, is used by permission and was written by Root Doctor, featuring Freddie Cunningham.
I'm trying, baby, driving up and down these Michigan roads, yeah.
Until next time, keep on keeping the blues alive.